This past weekend saw the birth of yet another political party. The Economic Freedom Fighters made it official that they contest the 2014 elections. Joining us in the studio now is Economic Freedom Fighters Spokesperson Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Mbuyiseni, good morning and thanks for coming in.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Okay, just firstly, new parties are obviously welcome in a democracy like we've got. We've got EFF leader Julius Malema. Sometimes he utters anti-ANC slurs. But do we need a party in South Africa that's anti-Zuma or anti-ANC, or do we need a party that has the interests of people at heart?
We do. I think that on the political landscape at the moment, no one carries a real alternative. Everybody believes in the macroeconomic frameworks that have been at the core of successive governments since 1990. And so Economic Freedom Fighters presents an alternative, radical economic route, which we believe is going to solve the problems of high levels of unemployment, poverty and inequality. And they have to do with nationalization of mines and strategic industries, land expropriation without compensation for equal redistribution. And that's really what every economy that hits a crisis does. The state comes in decisively, kickstarts the economy. That's what everybody does. But what we've been asked to do here in the country for the past 20 years is to normalize a crisis. High levels of unemployment and neoliberalism is not working. And so on the political landscape, really, the EFF is a real alternative.
And do you think it has the interests of the people at heart?
It definitely does. That's what drives us. It's not the ANC that drives us. It's not Jacob Zuma that drives us. It's the vision. It's the idea that black people in this country have to share in the country's wealth.
One of the statements that's been made by EFF and Julius Malema in particular is an anti-corruption one. And therefore that tells me as an observer that you are for openness and transparency.
Definitely.
Who's funding the EFF?
Well, at the moment it's its members through very basic contributions would like to be funded. If the eNCA is interested, they could fund us too.
Unfortunately, we don't fund political parties as an independent media organization. But there are reports and there were allegations at the weekend that some of the funding has come from ZANU-PF, from Zimbabwe.
No, we haven't been in any talk with anyone outside the country, no big funders yet. Would like to be funded by particularly Zimbabweans, but not yet.
Do you have a relationship, the EFF, with the ZANU-PF party?
No, we haven't officialized any relationships with political formations outside the country. We're looking forward to actually going across the world and finding friends. And Zimbabwe would definitely be one of the priorities.
What about internal friends? Are you making some moves to
Yes,
coalesce with somebody for the elections?
Definitely in our assembly on Saturday and Friday. We had the Unemployment People's Movement, September National Imbizo, the Lawnmen Workers of Marikana. These are the important endorsements that we've received. We have not formalized any political alliances, but we've got endorsements in terms of forming a political party and contesting 2014 elections.
Okay, now at the National Assembly in Soweto, your manifesto has been out. What kind of voters is the EFF trying to win to have a successful bid in 2014? And what are you targeting, really, in terms of the percentage of the national vote?
We're looking for all South Africans, from the top to bottom. If this economy is going to work, EFF policies are the only route. This economy is going to collapse in our hands. So if you are a businessman, if you're the middle class, but in the main, black poor people, if this economy is going to accommodate the huge numbers that are being marginalized, EFF is the only route. So we're targeting everyone, but in the main, the working class. Of course, I think that part of the problem with that formulation is that many people might think the attachment to the label ANC is going to be a problem, and we're going to work on that. We're going to work to make people understand that the ANC is empty now of any possibility for a good future. And so in 2014, we want everything. We want to take power in all. So we're targeting to take parliament in the majority.
But that's very, very ambitious indeed. Economy to grow, to deal with unemployment that you've mentioned. Nationalization, I need to ask you this. You look around South Africa, look around SADC countries. Mozambique had nationalization. Zambia had nationalization policies as well. I think in Angola as well at some point. But they've now embraced market-related economic policies over time from the late 80s. Why do you think it will work in South Africa?
Because the global economic framework has changed. It started changing in the 80s. It's beginning to change again. The neoliberal framework has collapsed. It has collapsed European economies. It has collapsed United States economy. And also we've got increasingly a multipolar world. So the world has changed. Everybody across the world is beginning to come back in terms of the state. Market policies are not working. It will work because it's time, globally and nationally, for an experimentation with less market-related politics, more state, a decisive, strong, efficient state that comes into the economy. That's what everyone is doing. That's what the United States is doing. That's what China is doing. That's what Brazil and India is doing. And so it's not new. It's not really irrelevant. It will work.
Okay, thank you very much. There we'll have to leave it. That's Economic Freedom Fighter spokesperson Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
News that moves. eNCA.com.